Okay, so I know what happens. You go into Schoology, you open your homework assignment, and you look at it, and you just try to do the problem in your head and fill in the blank. It's really important that when you're solving problems that are simplifying algebraic expressions, that you write down the problem. Write it down, and then it just goes by much faster, and you'll get it right. You have a better chance to get it right than if you just try to guess it. Especially when we're dealing with integers and decimals and fractions. Really write it down. Okay, so here I already wrote these down, and this is what I do. Write them down. Give yourself some space, and then you'll have a nice and neat space to work. Okay. Here we go. Number 1. Okay, I'm looking at this problem, and I see there are some coefficients and variables and some constants. I'm going to start with my x's. Right here, I see a 1.3x plus a 0.6x. Well, that's pretty simple. That's going to be 1.3 plus, I don't know why that doesn't work. Okay, 0.6. All right, so we're just going to put those together. And when you add decimals, you have to line them up. So I'm going to do it on the side. 1.3 and 0.6. Line up the decimals. That's 9 and 1.9. So that right there is going to be a 1.9x. And then I see I have a 5 here and a -3 or a -3. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So now I have my coefficients in order because there's an x right there. And there's a 2, and that's a +2. So the final simplified expression is 1.29x plus 2. And that is what you put in your answer box. Okay, so there's number 1, number 2. Wait, let me get that cleared off. Okay, where's that little dot right there? Okay. All right. So, looking at this one, I see fractions. Oh no, that's okay. 2/7 x plus 3/7 x. I could put those together. And 2/7 plus 3/7, well, they have the same denominator, so I could just go ahead and add them, and that will give me 5/7. So this and this right here, 5/7 x. That was easy. Done with those. Now I have -4 plus 2. -4 plus 2. I can't add those together because I have a negative sign there. So I have to subtract and find the difference. That will be a 2, and it will be a -2 because this value has more negative. So I write down -2. And that right there is my simplified expression. So when you type that in, 5/7 x minus 2. Simplified expression. Easy enough. Okay, let's go to number 3. Ooh, more fractions. How much fun! This is getting fun. Okay, let's start with the fractions first. 1/2 a plus 2/3 a minus 1/6 a. Well, I have, really what I have here is 1/2 plus 2/3 plus 1, or no, that is minus 1/6. And when you add fractions, you have to have a common denominator. The common denominator, that's hard to see. The common denominator here is 6. Okay, this 1/6 stays the same, and it's a minus between it. 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6, so 1 times 3 is 3. So now I just add 3, 4, because the denominators are the same. 3 plus 4 is 7, minus 1 is 6th. 7 minus 1 is 6, so that is actually 1. So I'm left with, if I put all these together, 1a, which is just plain old a. Done with that, done with that, done with that. Now I'm down to 5 minus 3. At my constants. What's 5 minus 3? 2. So 2 will go here, and that will be a positive 2, because there's more positive. They're positive 2. So the final simplified expression is a plus 2. Okay, we're almost done here. Number 4, in the back of my paper. Ooh, decimals. All right, let's do some decimals. Let's start with the y's. I see that comes first. Let's do this y. 1.8y minus 0.7y. So that's 1.8 minus 0.7. Line up your decimals when you add and subtract them. That's going to be 1, and that'll be a 1. So this is going to be 1.1y. Done with that, done with that. And then I have negative 0.6 and negative 0.2. And what happens when you have negative and negative? Well, you actually have to add them together. Negative 0.6 and a negative 0.2. You're actually putting two negatives together, so you're going to add those two values. When you add decimals, you line them up. 0.8, and it's going to be negative, because negative and more negative is a lot of negative. So that'll be minus 0.8. So your final answer, 1.1 y minus 0.8. Perfect. Here we go. Ooh, decimals and variables. I got an A, a B, an A, and a B, and a constant. Okay, I'm going to start with A's. 2.3a minus 5.8a. Okay, so what happens when you have opposite signs? You have a positive and a negative. You have to subtract to find the value. So I'm going to go put the larger value on top when I subtract. 5.8 and 2.3. Go ahead and subtract those. 8, 7, 6, 5, and a 3. Okay, now, so I get 3.5 for that. 3.5. Is that going to be a positive or a negative 3.5? Well, look at the signs. I got a positive and a negative. There's more negative with a 5 than a 2, so this would be a negative 3.5a. Done with that, done with that. Let's look at the b's. Negative 5b plus negative 7b. Those two are opposite signs, so I'm going to have to subtract. Take the larger value, put it on top. 7 minus 5 is 2. So that'll be a positive 2b because there's more value to the 7. So plus 2b. And then I have this 9 over here. And that's a positive 9, so plus 9. So the final answer is negative 3.5a plus 2b plus 9. Final simplified expression. Okay, last problem. I see fractions, x's, y's, constants. All right, let's start with our fractions. Why not? Let's get those out of the way. 2/3 x minus 1/6 x. Okay, and that's it for my fraction. So now I'm just subtracting them. I'm going 2/3 minus 1/6. Hey, kitty. Yeah, hello. All right, when you subtract fractions, you have to have common denominator. 6. This stays the same. Right here, 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 is 4. So now, this right here, if I look at it, is 4 minus 1 is 3. And this right here can also be reduced. I could divide these both by 3 and get 1/2. All right, 1/2 x. So this x and this x is going to be 1/2 x. Okay, well, yeah, done with that. Let's go look at our y's. 7y plus 3y. That's a positive 7 and a positive 3. 7 plus 3 is going to be 9 or 10. 10 y's. Done with that. Now I have to go to my constants. I got a -5 minus 4. -5 minus 4. Now, if you don't see that as a -5 put together with a -4, you could go -5 plus a -4. Either way, you're putting negatives together, which will give me -9. So now I got my my x's, my y's, and my 9. So let's rewrite it nice and neat. Final answer, 1/2 x plus, it's a positive 10, plus 10y minus 9. And it's the final simplified expression. So that didn't take too long really to do. It took us 6 minutes for each page, going through them. I suggest you kind of try them by yourself first and then go back through the explanation, or kind of follow along and stop as you go. But write your problems down. Instead of just trying to look at them and do it in your head. Write it down. I mean, that's a lot of thinking I did right there by writing down. Okay, good luck. Thanks. Bye.